What if your greatest strength was also your loneliest burden? What if seeing behind masks made every conversation a small act of violence against the comfortable illusions others live by? If that sounds familiar, you are not alone. There is a distinct psychology to people who consistently notice what others do not. This is not magic. It is a way of processing the world that brings clarity and a cost. Most people call it intuition. Scientists call it thin slicing. It is the brain's power to process tiny clues fast. It reads micro-expressions, subtle voice shifts, and mismatched body language. It spots patterns in seconds. For the perceptive mind, the world is always under a quiet scan. Nothing is taken at face value for long. That scan is both an advantage and a burden. Advantage because it keeps you safe. Burden because it steals simple trust. You can taste a lie the way others taste salt. You don't need a reason to know something is off. Your brain flags a mismatch and you feel it in your chest before you form a sentence. The painful part is often not the detection. It is the meaning you give to what you detect. When pattern recognition meets theory of mind, when you can infer what someone hides, you don't just see a mask, you see the wound beneath it. You see a boss who yells and, in the same breath, see a terrified child holding on to control. You see a braggart, and behind the bluster, a small person desperate to be noticed. That kind of empathy is rare. It is also exhausting. 3 common traps tend to trap this profile. First, the accidental villain. Second, the detective loop. Third, the emotional landfill. Each one is understandable. Each one can be shifted. Accidental villain. In social life, we collectively agree to small decencies. We tell white lies. We smooth edges. We play roles. You show up and point at the mold in the corner. You name the hidden motive. You refuse to play along. People will call you blunt, negative, or mean. This reaction is not proof you are wrong. It is proof that your truth makes others feel naked. The Cassandra myth fits well here. Cassandra saw truths no one else would accept. She spoke and was dismissed as mad. Modern perceptive people meet the same fate. You can save someone from a small humiliation and make 10 friends angry. You can expose manipulation and be called cruel. The social world will prefer comfort over clarity. That tension isolates you. Second, the detective loop. When you learn to read cues reliably, you develop a habit of expecting hidden agendas. That habit grows into hypervigilance. Compliments become contracts. Delays become abandonment. A partner's quiet evening becomes proof of emotional decay. You scan for motives the same way a detective looks for fingerprints. That habit preserves you from many harms, but it also prevents rest. Over time, the mind builds armor out of suspicion. You predict betrayals to avoid pain. You trade spontaneity for control. You trade warmth for safety. The mind becomes excellent at proving what it already believes. That's confirmation bias at work. You will find evidence to support your suspicion and discount anything that contradicts it. Small doubts mushroom into chronic mistrust. Third, the emotional landfill. Because you understand people so well, others offload onto you. They don't mean to hurt you. They simply find you accurate and calm. You become a container. You hold their secrets, their grievances, their panics. You listen. You fix. You see, but rarely do they match that care for you. People assume you need less comfort. They think you are strong enough to carry everything. You end up carrying the weight of truths that are not yours to carry. This combination of being mistrusted, mistrusting, and overloaded creates a slow erosion. It looks like isolation, doubt, and exhaustion. It looks like a person who can't relax in a room full of friends because they feel everyone's tiny contradictions. It looks like someone who knows a relationship will fail, but has to celebrate the wedding anyway. So what helps? You cannot unsee. That is not the point. The point is to change how you respond. The solution sits in 3 practical shifts. They are not quick fixes. They are habits. They protect your heart and preserve your gift. Shift 1. Strategic ignorance. This is not denial. It is skillful prioritizing. You can know a thing without being responsible for fixing it. You can witness a coworker's manipulations and choose not to be the person who calls them out in public. Ask yourself, does exposing this improve anyone's life? Will revealing this truth change my responsibilities? If the answer is no, let it be a passing observation. Think of it as weather. You see the cloud. You are allowed to keep walking. Shift 2. Radical empathy for masks. People wear masks for reasons that are often tender: fear, shame, trauma, and simple social survival. When you strip motives down to human needs, contempt softens. The person who brags may be filling a loneliness. The person who freezes may be protecting a wound. This is not an excuse for harm. It is a lens that reduces your rage and increases your options. You can hold the truth and still offer compassion. Shift 3, choose presence. Education from your scanning abilities can live alongside deliberate partial blindness. When your internal radar lights up, note it, label it. Then decide how much of that map you need in the present moment. If intuition says there is a 20% risk, you can file that away and still enjoy the 80% of beauty before you. This is courage. It is a permission to risk a little pain for a lot of life. There are practices that make these shifts concrete. Practice naming without acting. Say to yourself, I notice the tone and I do not need to correct it. Build small boundaries. Limit how much emotional labor you offer to others each week. Schedule time where you allow yourself to be carried. Learn a brief grounding routine. Notice 5 things you can see, 4 you can touch, 3 you can hear, 2 you can smell, 1 you can taste. It snaps your mind out of analysis and into the body. Learn to ask clarifying questions that trade accusation for curiosity. Instead of stating, you're being fake, try, that sounded different from what you said earlier. Are you okay? The question invites a story instead of a reaction. It gives people a chance to meet you honestly. It also preserves your relationship equity. Therapy or supervision can be invaluable. A perceptive person benefits from a reflective mirror. A trained listener can help you separate what belongs to you from what belongs to others. They can help you process the shame that surfaces when you are made the scapegoat. They can help you practice strategic ignorance in real time. Finally, name the gift. Your ability to see deep things is rare. It has saved you and others in real ways. It can evolve into wisdom rather than mere exposure. Wisdom sees the rocks and charts a safe course without shouting every hazard. Wisdom knows when to warn and when to comfort. Wisdom is not cold. It is kind and effective. If this resonates, give yourself credit and give yourself care. You are doing hard work inside rooms where others never notice. You can keep your clarity. You can also keep your heart. The two are not mutually exclusive. Which of the 3 traps pulls you most often? Which shift could you try this week? Share one step you will take to protect your energy. I'd like to hear your experience. You are not alone. You are seen.